Hi guys, TJ Houston here with Pixel Connection. We are in Oberlin, Ohio on this snowy Friday morning, and we are here to talk about a new camera from Fujifilm, and that is the Fuji X100V. Now you might notice that I don't have the camera. That's right, it's so small it'll actually fit right in your pocket, and that's really what this camera is designed for. We're going to go through and share the things that we like about it, a couple things that we don't, and just some of the specs about this camera. Let's go. So who exactly is this camera for? This camera is meant to be a camera that you can put in your pocket, you can throw in your bag. It's meant that you can take it with you anywhere that you go. So what is new with this camera? It's been about 3 years since we've seen an update to the X100 line. And what's new with this camera is an all-new sensor. So it's the 26 megapixel X-Trans sensor, and we also get a new processor. So that unlocks a lot of new features in this camera. A couple of the features include improved video, improve dynamic range, and overall what I like the most about this camera is the overall sharpness of this lens. So we're going to shoot around Oberlin a little bit, grab a couple example photos for you guys and some videos so you can see for yourself how good this camera really is. One of the new features that I'm excited about this camera is the new tilting touchscreen. So for right now, let's say I wanted to get that kind of a low angle. With the previous version, I would have to kind of be a contortionist and kind of, angle myself around to try to see the camera. But now I can just pop this lens up and I can line up the perfect exposure and the perfect composition very easily. Now with this touchscreen, they didn't really add a lot of thickness to the camera. You could see it's still keeping that low profile design, but we get this kind of pop out screen. So that way we can get low shots, or if we want to shoot above, we can. And now I did want to talk a little bit also about the weather sealing with this camera. So right now you can see it's snowing, we're not in perfect conditions, and with an optional adapter that goes on the front of the lens, it actually makes this camera fully weather sealed. So right now we're doing our best to keep the front lens element protected, but the rest of this camera, I don't have to worry about the snow, being in the rain, any not perfect conditions. This camera is still going to perform without an issue. Another thing about this camera is the improved viewfinder. So you can see the design of the viewfinder has changed up from the previous version. In my shooting with it over the last few weeks, it's a lot more comfortable when you bring that up to your eye. And now if you notice, it is one of the hybrid viewfinders that Fuji's known for. So you can have this little screen, when you're looking through it, be a traditional EVF, so it's an electronic viewfinder, so what you see is what you get. Or if you want that more film-like experience and you just want that rangefinder design, it'll actually just bring your guides up in the monitor. It's a hybrid viewfinder, so it's a really neat feature of this camera. One thing we've noticed with Fuji is the focus on video, and that doesn't change with this camera. Now with this new processor and the new sensor, we're going to get stunning video at 4K at 30 frames per second. We're going to get 1080, we're going to get up to 120, and then we're also going to get 422 10-bit via HDMI. So as far as the video, I think it's going to be good if you already have like an XH1 or an XT3 to have a good B-roll camera or a solid B cam. But with having to get 422 via HDMI, it's not really going to be a go-to video camera, but it's a great camera to get good quality video, and it can fit in your pocket. We're going to shoot a couple of video clips here and a couple other places, just so you guys can see the different quality of this camera. One thing that Fuji lovers really enjoy are the different film stocks or film simulations that are built into that camera. All of the film simulations that are in the current cameras come into this camera as well, but they've also added a new classic negative film simulation to give you a very different look. So if you're looking to get a lot of in-camera artistry and a lot of different looks from a camera, this is 100% that camera. So I want to also take a moment and talk about the new sharpness of this lens. We did a few shots in the store to kind of compare just how good the new lens is. It is night and day. I urge you to go over to our website, and we'll put a link in the description below, and look at the side-by-side comparisons. We're getting sharpness in the corners, we're getting sharpness in the center of the camera, we're getting sharpness across the frame. And that was one of the hesitations with this camera when we saw it was coming out. We were wondering if we were going to see some of those issues that we've seen in previous versions in this camera, but I'm here to tell you that the sharpness is so much better. Whew, it is chilly. We came inside so we can share some of the things that we like about the camera and some things that we don't like. So Let's start off with the things that we like about the camera. Number one is this improved dial mechanism on the top. So on the previous versions, and anytime you would try to change your ISO, it was this kind of weird spring mechanism that you would bump your finger up against the other buttons on the top of the camera, and it would take you a little bit to actually move it all the way around. Now we see a simple pop-up, change your setting, lock it back down in place. So that's one thing that we really liked about it. Another thing that we liked about the camera is the new articulating screen. That's definitely a welcomed upgrade for this camera. Also, the thing that we really like about the camera is the new and improved lens mechanism. This is super, super sharp. I can't, like, that's what everybody has been asking about this camera. That's the one thing that I keep talking about, just how good the sharpness is on this camera. The EVF shape, so you see how this is a circle now? In the past, it hasn't been like this. So now that I've shot with it for a couple weeks, it's a lot more comfortable when you're bringing it up to your eye. And then when it's a camera that's meant to be with you at all times. So ergonomically, it has to be something that you're comfortable with. This is just adding on to that. And it just makes it a lot easier to, again, take it with you everywhere you go. Also, the control ring on the lens up here, there's a lot more kind of friction, if you will. So you're not gonna accidentally, if you're trying to get that fine-tuning manual focus, you're not gonna find yourself missing that or having to fine-tune it more. It actually has a really good amount of friction on that control ring dial, so that makes it really nice to use. So what are some of the things that we don't like about the camera? And I want to preface this by saying none of these are deal breakers at all. We want to bring a kind of a 5-on-5 format to these videos, 5 things we like and 5 things that we don't. So some of these things, it was actually really tough with this camera to find the 5 things that we didn't like. And these are all very small details. So the first of those being the tripod mount placement. So you can see it shifted all the way over here. And if you put a plate on this camera, it's going to block that battery door from opening. So that's kind of, I mean, that's just going to be a pain to have to take off a plate every single time you need to change the battery. Number 2 is, although we like the touchscreen, the articulating touchscreen, we were kind of hoping it was going to be what we've seen in previous Fuji models where it actually pops up from the bottom. So when you're doing more of those vertical shots, you can kind of pull it up so that way when you're getting down low, you can see what you're doing. Again, not a deal breaker. We think that it's because they wanted to keep the thickness of the camera smaller, and if they would have added on that mechanism, it would have been a lot larger. Ergonomically, they removed the D-pad on this camera. So they went for a more simplistic approach. So that was one of the things that one of the people at the store, one of the employees at the store who shoots Fuji, he said he uses his D-pad a lot. So we'll see if that's something that's easily adjustable for users. And the final thing is the just the one-handed grip function of the camera. We wish it came up a little bit more on the end, so that way when you're doing kind of one-handed shooting, it would be a little bit more comfortable. So those are the 5 things that we like and the 5 things that we don't. If you have absolutely any questions for us, please put them in the comments below. A lot of times in our store we have access to tech reps. They stop by and we can get those questions answered for you as soon as possible. So is this a camera that you've been looking at? Is this a camera that has been on your radar? Have you been looking for a camera that you could just pop in your pocket and take to dinner with you or on that next trip? Let us know in the comments below. We want to know how people are using these cameras. And if, like I said before, if you have any questions, please let us know. My name is TJ Houston from the Pixel Connection. Have a great day.